ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday. I'm meteorologist Kenny. Hope you all had an amazing week and are getting ready to start off yet another amazing weekend. Thankfully, it's going to be a lot less humid considering we're going to have a brand new frontal boundary that will be swooping into our area, and that'll be drying up any moisture in the atmosphere that could potentially lead to very high dew points, eventually leading up to a very muggy day. So thankfully, a lot of good weather changes are on the way, all right? Let's now take a look at our weather headlines as we head into our brand new weekend and then eventually into the new week. Once again, that frontal boundary will be pushing in very, very soon, and that will dry up the air and make it much more pleasant outside. And as you might have guessed, the tropics are still very, very active. We have multiple threats to keep an eye on, especially Invest 95L, which I'm currently keeping a very close eye on because this one looks like it might actually be having some impacts on the United States. I'll tell you why coming up in just a couple of minutes. But here's a current look at our current threats right now. We have our brand new system, Tropical Storm Odette. This was Invest 96L. However, there's still some very warm waters in this general area, and because it is over those very warm waters, it has gained enough strength to become our next name system. So once again, breaking news, Tropical Storm Odette has formed just off the coast of North Carolina. However, it will really not have any impacts on the United States considering there's a massive area of high pressure that is rotating clockwise, and that's what's pushing it to the north and northeast. So bottom line, if we see anything within Odette, it's just going to be some high rip current risk along portions of the mid-Atlantic and maybe portions of New England. But other than that, there's really not going to be any impacts or direct impacts with 96L or Tropical Storm Odette. And then we also have Invest 95L. This one I'm keeping a very close eye on because it does have a very good chance of forming, at least an 80% chance or higher of becoming our next name system. And I'll tell you why coming up in just a couple of minutes, all right? Here's Tropical Storm Odette. The latest details include its current location at 36.6 north, 71.9 west. Maximum sustained winds around the center of around 40 or so miles an hour with a low minimum pressure of 1,010 millibars. Remember, anytime the pressure is decreasing, that means that we're seeing a strengthening system, and it is currently moving to the northeast at 15 miles an hour, so a pretty fast-moving system, but once again, no threat to the United States at all. And you can see here by our forecast track, all the model guidance has it pushing further and further away from the United States. Yes, it will be strengthening just a little bit more, but even though it will strengthen, there's really not going to be any impacts for the United States at all. So yes, even though it will be a strengthening system, this system is absolutely nothing to worry about, especially as far as tropical threats go, all right? Then we also hear of Invest 95L, currently an 80% chance of forming just to the north there of the Lesser Antilles. Because this area of high pressure that is currently rotating in this general area out in the middle of the Atlantic, that's what's pushing it more westward as we speak right now. However, as soon as it gets on this side of that area of high pressure that is currently rotating clockwise and we get that northern push, then it might start to take a little bit more turn to the north. But the question is, how soon will it take the northern turn? If it gets close enough to the United States, we could see some impacts. However, if that area of high pressure does push it more to the northward, then we could be looking at some less impacts. So it all depends on how fast it makes that northern turn, all right? Here's a look at the satellite imagery. The center of circulation is somewhere right in here. All of the thunderstorm action has really been on this western side, so it really isn't that well, defined system that you would typically look for. It's kind of actually smaller than some of the ones I've seen. So once again, this is just a storm that we have to keep a very, very, very close eye on as we head over the next several days. All the model guidance is definitely in agreement that it will be strengthening somewhere in this general area. However, some of the spaghetti models have it making that northern turn as soon as it gets near Hispaniola and Jamaica. So this is just one model guidance showing that it will be making a northern turn. Once again, how soon it makes that northern turn will determine whether or not we see impacts from the United States or not. And how strong will it get? Most likely becoming a tropical storm. Could it become a hurricane? It's not likely at this point. Only one model has it making it to hurricane strength, but it will most likely become a tropical storm within the next 24 to 36 hours. But as far as major or hurricane impacts go, I don't think we're going to be seeing that within Invest 95L. Once again, how soon it makes that northern turn will determine if we see direct impacts on the United States or not. So once again, just something that we have to keep a very close eye on. Once again, hurricane, it's going to be Tropical Storm Odette got named today. Our next name on the list is Peter. So if Invest 95L does become a name storm, which it likely will, our next name on the list is Peter. So Invest 95L, soon to be Tropical Storm or Hurricane Peter. All right, now coming up, when that frontal boundary will be approaching us, and what and how will it impact our weather pattern as we head into our brand new weekend, and then eventually into next week. Alrighty, everybody, so now that we have the tropics out of the way, let's talk about what is going on in the eastern United States and how it's going to be affecting our weather pattern as we head into this weekend and then eventually into the brand new week, alright? So once again, here's Tropical Storm Odette. Just got named today just off the coast of North Carolina. Because it's on this western side of that area of high pressure rotating clockwise, that's where we're getting that northern push, and we'll eventually be on that northern side, and that will be pushing it to the northeast. So once again, no impacts from the United States at all. Believe it or not, we are still dealing with Nicholas. It actually made landfall as a hurricane earlier this week and is still bringing lots and lots of rain to portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, all the way up into Arkansas and Tennessee, because it really doesn't have anything to move it out of. Our jet stream pattern is all the way up here across the northern portions of the U.S. getting into Canada, and really there's nothing as far as atmospheric components go in this general area to really move Nicholas out of the way, and because of that, Nicholas has just basically been sitting over central and northern portions of Louisiana, and it will continue to stay like that until we can get some atmospheric component to push it out of the way, alright? We do have this cold front approaching us from our west. That's going to be our biggest weather maker, our biggest weather changer as we head into this weekend, because eventually, as we head into our brand new week, it'll be shifting towards the east. That will also be pushing Tropical Storm Odette out of the way. And then as we get into this weekend, there we go, portions of northern Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and then eventually the rest of the mid-Atlantic. And then eventually, as we head into our brand new weekend, it shifts further and further southeastward. And now we're going to be looking for that bigger change when it comes to drier air, moist air, okay? Everything in front of this frontal boundary is all moist, but then as soon as we can get that frontal boundary to come through, that's where all the drier air is, okay? So until we can get this front to come to our area, it's probably going to be very, very moist out there and mostly uncomfortable, but as soon as we can get this frontal boundary that will come through, that's going to dry up all the air in the atmosphere and lead to much more pleasant conditions. So once again, as soon as we can get this frontal boundary in our area, our weather is going to be much, much better, especially over the next several days, alright? So that is basically all I have for you all today. Please be sure to visit my website above at liamsweather.org. Be sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. You turn on that notification bell so that way you always get notified whenever I post videos. And also be sure to click that like button if you are enjoying the content. If you want to follow me on social media, I am on Facebook at Liam Kenny. I'm on Instagram at Liam's Weather. And last but not least, I am also on Twitter at Liam's Weather 621. Alright, so once again, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great weekend.